Hajiya Sadiya Umar Farouq, the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, has restricted the commitment of the ministry to ensure that older persons live a dignified and quality life. Farouq made the commitment at an event to celebrate the maiden edition of the National Day of Older Persons 2022 in Abuja with the theme Celebrating the Resilience of Older Women and Men, from Resilience to Empowerment. The event was organized by the National Senior Citizen Center (NSCC). She said the day was instituted by President Muhammadu Buhari on the 17th of December 2021 during the first presidential summit on aging in Nigeria.
The National Day of Older Persons in Nigeria is specifically set aside to highlight the invaluable contributions older people have made and are still making to the society, as well as raise awareness of their needs, challenges, and the myriad opportunities offered to them. In line with the universal teaching of action, we strongly suggest leaving no one behind. The federal government has implemented and kept faith in the spirit of social inclusion, led institutional policy, human resources, data production, and integration framework to effectively provide social inclusion for older persons across all sectors of the nation's economy. This is reflected in the launch of the National Policy on Aging, development of the 10-year strategic roadmap, and the National Plan of Action on Aging that will provide for sustainable sector-wide inclusion and effective partnerships. These programs are all incorporated in the 2021-2025 National Development Plan.
The Director General NSCC, Dr. Imam Omokaro, appreciated Buhari and Farouq for making the celebration of the day for older persons a reality.
So in celebrating the resilience of older men and women, we are really saying, thank you so much for all that you have endured, even when it seemed you were forgotten. And we are saying, thank you so much for the hope that you never allowed, to be extinguished. And in celebrating this resilience and celebrating our older persons, we are also celebrating the family that has borne the burden of care of older persons. We are celebrating civil society organizations that occupied in their different corners, in their different places. We are celebrating the coalition of societies for the rights of older persons who pulled senior civil societies together to continue to fight and to push advocating for this day to come. We are celebrating the Nigerian Union of Pensioners. We are celebrating experts in aging. We are celebrating associations of older persons. We are celebrating research and academia. We are celebrating the private sector, everybody who held forth when it seemed that there was no overarching policy, when it seemed that there was no strategy, when it seemed that Nigeria really had no programs and activities, when it seemed that there was no budget line at all for older persons. So that's what we are celebrating today. We are celebrating Nigeria, and we are celebrating this administration that indeed walked the talk in saying that one of the pillars of the National Development Plan is social inclusion. We are celebrating Sadiya Umar Farouq, the minister that came in running to ensure that the National Senior Citizen Center Act was activated, board inaugurated, and infrastructure put in place for this center to take off. We are celebrating our development partners. That's what we are celebrating, who in their efforts contributing to advocacy, capacity building, and so on and so forth. And we are celebrating the MDAs, who in their own pockets also still remembered older persons. That's what we are celebrating today. And in celebrating that, our hashtag for National Senior Citizen Center is from resilience to empowerment. That's a statement we are making. Because our resilience is not bouncing back. There was nothing to bounce back to. Now is empowerment of all the people, so that in the face of a changing world, whether it be technology that is fast evolving and seeming like it's going to leave them behind, whether it's increasing urbanization, migration, whether it is insurgencies that has isolated so many families and left many maimed. Anything now in this changing world, humanitarian crisis, poverty, that our older persons being empowered like other population group can, as others are bouncing back, now say we are more resilient. We too can withstand these things. Why? Because we have been mainstreamed into social safety nets. We have been mainstreamed into national social investment programs. We have been mainstreamed and we have been, our capacity have been built. We are earning income. We are continuing to engage. Our environment is friendly. Yes, so if anything happens, the infrastructure is friendly. Our pockets are secured. We are happy. We are living a dignified life. So if anything happens, now we too can bounce back. That is what we are celebrating. So I am very happy. It is indeed my honor to welcome everybody here today. Thank you very much for standing by our older persons. Our traditional rulers, I thank you so much. Our older persons from the community, you are welcome. It's always a pleasure to see rural older people because they tell us that we are doing the right thing. We are reaching the unreached and we are getting to the underserved area. So it's always a delight to see our older persons.
Also speaking, the chairman of NSCC's governing board, retired Air Vice Marshal Muhammadu Muhammad, said as the population grow older, there is need for a policy to make them remain active to participate in economic activities in the country. High points of the celebration include short documentary on NSCC Grey and Vintage projects, spoken word poetry in honor of senior citizens by Richard Onyebule, medical outreach, and the tour of Grey and Vintage Fair.
At the National Senior Citizen Center, we recognize that everyone, young and old, have a role to play in promoting solidarity between generations, in combating discrimination against older people, and in building a future of security, opportunity, dignity for people of all ages. Therefore, we are collaborating and cooperating with all segments and sectors of the society and ensuring that aging-related issues are being mainstreamed into policies as we, as of today, have in order to bring societies and economies in harmony with demographic changes, policies supporting their social and economic integration in all spheres of society as necessary. To make life more beautiful for senior citizens, let us continue to celebrate them daily for their contributions to the society.